In this video, I'm going to introduce QlikView project, the all-in-one data integration and metadata management platform for QlikView projects brought to you by BI Network. In particular, I am going to focus on how QlikView project works in connection with the standard development process of a QlikView project. QlikView project is the working combination of three components: a dedicated database to store technical and business metadata, a QlikView connector that links the database to the workflow, and a new approach outlined to become the best practice in the way QlikView projects are created and managed. A small text file completes the picture. The key concept behind this new approach is to externalize all the items that at some point might be subject to change. For instance, the address of a server, an SQL query, a formula to calculate a budget, and so on and so forth. Externalizing all these items to a third-party repository simplifies the task of finding them and makes it easy for the user to apply changes when needed. I will be now following the step-by-step standard procedure of QlikView development, from data sources to the front end, showing when and where a QlikView project plays its role, and I will then wrap up showing all the advantages that come with its use. The first problem when starting a project from scratch is data extraction. We can apply QlikView project approach right from the beginning and externalize all sources information, writing on the database what we need to extract, where from, and how, listing here all the necessary data specifications. We then move on and launch the QlikView project connector. This application connects to the database, reads all the information needed to perform data extraction, where and what the sources are, what the tables are, in what folders they're going to be saved. The connector connects to the sources, retrieves the data, and creates the QVD files to populate the staging area. The extraction part is completed, with the advantage of having all the information needed for execution now under just one single control panel. Should we need to modify any part of the extraction process, we could refer to the user-friendly QlikView project database interface and quickly be able to work on the items that need changing. To complete ETL procedures, mapping and external tables loading, various spreadsheets or other fragmented data sources, can be also centralized within QlikView project. All mapping and external table specifications can be put into the database. Once again, it is important to remark the convenience of having everything stored in the same place, enhancing the consistency of your project. After the specifications have been defined, the connector is linked to the database to read them. The connector retrieves the specifications for mapping and external tables. The connector loads mapping information into the QVDs in the staging area and creates new QVDs for the customized tables included in the project. Externalize metadata for ETL processes is a standard procedure and no big news after all. The extension of such practice to variables and expressions is what we think of as the best practice to follow, and that's why we made it the QlikView project approach. Once a formula is written in the front end of dozens of QlikView applications, it's then difficult to apply changes to it. Best case scenario, we would have to retrace all the spots where it's used within the file and manually rewrite the parts we intend to modify. QlikView project offers a smarter approach to that. The developer writes his formula into the database and links it to an alias. This alias is what he's then going to use within his applications every time he needs to recall that formula. It's now simple and quick to look for the formula and eventually modify it. This way, one single change is going to be applied to all the aliases related to it. To make sure that all the variables linked to formulas, constants or expressions are updated in the applications, it is necessary to include a small script within each of the QlikView files in development. Such script is stored in a small external text file and can be loaded with a one-line command. This script is the same for all the applications. When data are reloaded, it applies the changes as declared in the database. To wrap up what we've seen so far, QlikView project is a new way to approach QlikView projects by using an external metadata repository, a QlikView connector, and a smart best practice. In detail, the database, a single repository for technical and business metadata, for ETL specifications for variables and expressions. The connector, a QlikView application to connect the database to the workflow at different stages during the development, sources, mapping, and external tables. The best practice, a new development logic to be followed when working on QlikView applications. Externalize each and every item that might be subject to change. And let's not forget about the script that makes it work. As the number of QlikView files grows, with it also grows the added value of using QlikView project to manage them. A single repository for all projects, information stored in the same place are likely to be easier to manage. One logic away from specificity, because people revolving around the project might change, but the logic don't have to. A best practice, a new smart way to think and develop your QlikView project that is soon going to turn into time and money saver. For further information about QlikView project, get in touch with BI Network or visit www.qlikproject.net. Thank you for your attention.